Welcome, welcome. We're gonna try a search zone mission for the first time. I've never tried this at all, so we'll see how this goes. But from my understanding, you fly to the coordinates that they give you, and you probably gotta be under 1,000 feet, and you probably just gotta circle around it. That's a guess, but we'll see what happens. So we're at Wewak again. Gonna fly to the southeast, find this river, and see what we can find. I know in some of the Neofly missions they have stuff on the ground like buses and fire trucks and airplanes that are flipped over, so maybe this is one of those. So again, I haven't done a lot of reading on it, just trying this out for the first time, so we'll see how it goes. Alright, so we're already cranked up. We are props full in, mixtures rich. Let's set up the mission first. Fly. And don't want to fly the bow, I want to fly the X-Cub.
Transporter from dispatch. Mayday, mayday, mayday. We have an urgent search and rescue mission. Rush to your plane.
All green lights.
Transporter, we have received the distress beacon signal. Head for the last known position.
Alright. Parking brakes off. Lane lights on. So it'll be departing runway 28 at Wewak. Got one notch of flaps. Thousand RPMs. Alright. Whoops. Always tries to pick up that flap handle when I'm looking over here. Alright, so winds are favoring 2.8. And the flap handle's favoring my mouse. Alright, one notch of flaps is in. No traffic on the runway. Wewak traffic, November 1, X-ray Charlie, departing runway 28, Wewak. Come on, man.
Fly safe. Every second counts. Go up to 1,500.
speed of 1,000. Autopilot on. Turn more to the right. We're definitely going to enter some clouds, or be around some clouds. I'm not going to enter them. You don't enter them, right? Right, VFR pilots? You don't enter them. Ha ha ha. But it's easy to do accidentally. That is definitely something to be aware of. I remember one time I was flying back. So I live in North Carolina, and I was flying back from Ocracoke, which is a really fun destination place for pilots to fly to because you can only access the island by a ferry, or they have a really nice airport that's right on the beach. And you can walk to town. There's a restaurant that'll come pick you up in a golf cart. It's a pilot's haven. So I'd flown there for the weekend, and we were flying back, and it was one of those like high overcast days with like scattered down low. I'm gonna bump up my altitude a little bit. But it was a scattered down low, and on the coast, because of the sea breeze, there was nothing, no clouds. But I could see a little bit on the horizon as I was taking off, and I checked the weather, and it was scattered at my destination. So I wasn't concerned about going VFR, because at the time I still am. I'm only a VFR pilot, so I don't have an instrument rating, so I couldn't file. But I took off. We were headed back at like 2,500 or something like that, and boom, I flew right into a cloud, and it was one of those things that like I couldn't even see it. Like I didn't realize that I had flown near it because it just blended in with that overcast background. And this was during the day; it wasn't at night. But it was the sun was in my eyes, and so I did a 180. We descended, got up underneath it, and just a few miles later, I was able to climb back up to a cruising altitude and continue. But it is definitely real to fly into VMC conditions or IMC conditions accidentally, for sure. But we're not going to do that here. Climbing up and over. That almost looks like fog lifting. Because real time here in PNG is about 10:30 in the morning, which that's when I've noticed that the fog lifts around here during the summer, and it's usually pretty warm around here with its location near the equator and everything. So that looks like fog lifting. And my expert meteorologist observations. Just kidding. Alright, so we are following the popcorn trail to the search zone. What I'm going to do is, as I get closer, I'm going to descend down to, we'll call it like 800 feet, and like I said before, I don't know what to expect, so I'm assuming I'll have the circle, but 800 feet should be a good altitude over that river. But we're hoping we don't hit any clouds. Deviate a little bit to the left. fuel burn under 10 gallons an hour. That's what I flight plan at in this airplane, which is awesome with a 215 horsepower engine. Very nice power to weight ratio. Because typically in the Cessna 182 that I do fly the most often now, we flight plane at 14 gallons an hour. It's got a 265 horsepower engine. Factory is 235, but this has got a P-pump conversion on it, so it's 265. Burns a little bit more fuel. I think it's about a gallon or two more an hour. But with the P-pump and a 3-bladed prop, with 4 adults coming out of a grass runway, it is no issues at all. It's a real 4-place small aircraft that can get in and out of just about every airport that we need it to. So it is a very practical airplane to have, for sure. Same with this one. With this prop and engine combination, it makes it just such a utility aircraft to land anywhere and take off anywhere. And that's the thing, is around here at some of the altitudes, a lot of airplanes can land there, but they wouldn't be able to take off. And with this bigger engine, it actually allows it to be able to take off in the same distance that it lands. Alright, back on course. We'll see if we have clouds over our destination. There's that possibility because we are over a river. Typically, if the fog is lifting, then the fog is going to be coming out of water areas, so there's a high likelihood of that. So we got Wewak plugged into the GPS, so we're 14 nautical miles. Our destination is 39 nautical miles away from Wewak, so we got a little bit of a hike to get out there to it. Alright, so we are about 8 miles out. We're starting our descent down to 800 feet. You can see the river, so I'm confident that I'm in the general area where I'm supposed to be. Go a little bit to the left because you can see our popcorn trail. So I need to deviate a little bit to the left, and then should be all over it. Getting up underneath this little cloud layer here. I can see through it, so even if we put a wing into it, it's not going to bother me because it's a very thin fog or mist that's in the area. I do have an airport off to my left, a little village over there, so if I have any engine trouble or anything like that, I can set it down there rather than fighting with the bugs and snakes everywhere else. I got a tailwind. No, I don't. I got a crosswind. Quartering tailwind, but it's only 2 knots. So that shouldn't push me if I'm doing turns up here. Too bad. Alright, so it should be, based on the map, should Should be right in this area right here.
Transporter, you are now entering the search zone. Use the beacon signal to locate any survivors.
Okay. That was like a hot, cold beacon. I'm getting closer.
Transporter, good job. We now have the coordinates to send help. If there is somewhere suitable, please land to help the evacuation.
Oh, okay. They do want me to land. Alright, so I'm going to switch tanks because... Yep. Alright, so it's behind me. So let's do a 180 and get visual on what it says I found because I have no clue. Says it's off to my left. There's like a pink dot that showed up. Here, I'll show it to you. The pink dot that showed up. So that's what I'm tracking toward now to just see what it is. Luckily in this area, I'm gonna land anywhere, so now I'm just trying to get it close by. Alright, pink dot's off my left wing. See anything. Alright, well. We can at least land. Alright, so let's get the prop in. So mixtures in, props in, fuel's on the fullest. I think I can just land it right here. It says the pink dot is right off my nose, so you know what, I'll just land in that clearing straight ahead. Too fast. Get some trim in.
500.
looks pretty clear. I don't see any creeks or anything running through it, so. Got a little bit of a tailwind, but it's a non-factor for the amount of wind. Got a little bit of a hill, but that's okay.
That was close. Wait here until the evacuees are safely on board.
Got 1,000 RPMs.
Thank you so much. I didn't think I would make it out alive.
Well, we still gotta get home. Alright, survivors found. I hope I just found one, because that's all I can fit. Okay, so we landed close by. That's good. So now we take them back to Wewak, I'm assuming. Okay. That's what we'll do. Alright, did it, it's not putting any weight on the airplane. Everything's still as is, so. Okay. Whatever. Alright, so we're going to take off the way we landed, or the opposite way. So let me get I back myself up to the woods over here. And I'll check my configuration to make sure that I'm good to go. So, clear departure. Okay, so first notch of flaps, props in, fuels on the fullest tank, mixtures in. Everything looks good there. We'll get avionics set up. Let's rock and roll.
Nice one. If necessary, paramedics are waiting at the parking.
I think I'll be doing more of these search missions. That's pretty cool. Alright, so let's get the prop back a little bit. And I wonder, it's not showing me the magenta line, but I'm wondering what's going to happen if I hit nav and autopilot. Where are you going to go? Because Wewak's there, so I'm wondering which direction it's going to... which line it's going to try to pick up on. Flying through a thin layer of cloud now. And I'm okay with that. It's completely visual. You can see right through it. So it seems to be tracking because Wewak's up here, so it's at least pointing in that same direction. I'll buy that. There's our cruise altitude. It's capturing. Back down the manifold pressure. We'll do 22 square, 22 inches of manifold pressure, 2200 RPM. Under 10 gallons an hour. Hundred 109 knots ground speed. It's not bad. Not bad for what this thing's capable of doing. Not bad at all. If you don't mind to burn a little bit more fuel, you can make this thing fly Cessna 172 speeds, but yet land in a quarter of the distance and take off in the same amount. So it's pretty cool what they've been able to, not X-Cub, but Cub crafters. What they've been able to do with these Cubs with the carbon fiber, which is lighten up the airframe and strengthen it dramatically, and put a bigger horsepower engine in them. Just makes these Cubs a whole new aircraft. Because I've always traditionally thought about Cubs as like around the pattern and around the area, you know, within 10, 20 nautical miles toy. You know, they could take off and land in nothing, but if there was any wind at all, you had to be careful. And these seem to be a lot more resilient to it because they're not fabric. And with the bigger horsepower engines, they can actually carry some weight in them, and they can go into the mountains a little bit, play in the high and hot airports. So it's pretty cool. I can see why they're selling so many of them. They've dipped into a niche in the industry that a lot of pilots have wanted for a long time. All right. We are about 10 miles to the southeast from Wewak. We're going to start a descent down to 1,000 feet. Wewak traffic, November 1 X-ray Charlie, is 2300 descending 1,000, 10 miles to the southeast to land Wewak. Bug does not want to sink when I push it. It's also not, like when I spin the mouse wheel, it's not moving as fast as it used to. That's a little annoying. So I'm basically going to be making a base to final approach into Wewak. And we're going to hold this altitude because we're still in pretty decent terrain. It looks like it's falling terrain to the airport, so. Sort of slow descent. Easing the power back. You try to do 2 inches of manifold pressure every 1 minute is the general rule of thumb. More if you can allow it to not shock cool the engine and make sure everything's happy. This plane does not have cow flaps too, so you got to be even more careful with it. So we're 6 miles out. Airport's right there. So I'm just setting myself up for an extended left base to runway 28. And I'll call again at 5 miles on the Unicom. Wewak traffic, November 1 X-ray Charlie is 5 miles to the southeast, descending through 1400 for 1000. Wewak traffic. Get up over this little ridge here. And I'll descend without the autopilot. All right. Yep, I know it's below me. I got it. Wewak traffic, November 1 X-ray Charlie, extended left base, runway 28. Wewak. Keep trimming as I'm bleeding airspeed. Trim, 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 trim. Gotta keep trimming it up. Alright, first notch of flaps is in. Speed's good. Alright, runway's made, full flaps. Get some throttle back in it to ride the power curve. And again, I'm aiming for that 1,000-foot marker. Flaps up. Wewak traffic, November 1 X-ray Charlie's clear the active. Wewak. Can't see over the nose, so I'm gonna do a little S turns in here. Alright, parking area is clear.
Thanks again, pilot. I owe you my life.
Alright, so we touched down out in the boonies.
Great work out there today. Another life has been saved
Hardly
thanks to
any
you.
feet per minute. That's pretty cool. Vertical speed. And we touch down here. "26 feet per minute. Cool. Wow, bonus pay? That was interesting. It was kind of fun to go in that blind and not know what to expect. So definitely glad I picked down by the river. If it had been in the mountains, it would have been a whole nother set of obstacles to try to find somewhere to land. So that was an easy one to start with. So we'll definitely be doing more of those. Because there's usually a lot of those that pop up whenever I search around and find other emergency missions. We'll look for those too. So until next time, see ya.